Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rich Mancuso. It's Keep It in the Ring, live as always, 8 p.m. Eastern. This Thursday, October 30th, 2025. It's the last week of October. Halloween tomorrow as well, everyone. Welcome in. Thanks for your continued support. My YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Also, Stream Punk Entertainment and to Tommy D, tdsportstalk, who'll join me in a moment, my esteemed colleague and co-host. My social media handles, as always, scroll at the bottom of the screen. Ring786 at X. Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. On Instagram, Mancuso786. Read my content, Latinosports.com, and some other outlets as always. And we have an hour ahead, a little more tonight, the usual, as we keep it in the ring, including a November to Remember in boxing. That's coming up. Will it be a November to Remember? Pacquiao and Mayweather again? Strong talk. They're talking that they may have their second fight. We'll go into that in detail. The boxing news, there's a lot of it, came up in the last few days, including Gervonta Davis today, the latest on his situation. Martial arts will be a subject of our special guest later in the hour. The pro wrestling talk, including a look at Saturday night's main event on Peacock this Saturday, live. Nostalgia, as always, we have two good ones for you this week, much more ahead. It's Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso, and let's get to it. Well, we're talking about a November fight calendar and a boxing year that's had a lot of interest. Of course, boxing has been showcased with some good fights. Of course, as I always say, it's not bringing in the fans we want to bring in, those who don't take an interest in boxing. It's getting the interest of me, you, and all the others that love the sport so much. But we did have a very interesting first part of this year as we go into November, and the fight calendar is going to pick up towards the end of the year to close it out. Of course, we saw Terrence Crawford dethrone Canelo Alvarez and become undisputed at 168, and at 154, very competitive is that division, and the rising and shining of the young superstar Gerard Boots Ennis, who is now a champion in division, along with Sebastian Ventura, who waits to get his fight with Keith Thurman. That's going to be rescheduled. And Xander Zayas, also from Puerto Rico, the champion at 154, as they look to unify a very hot and competitive division, if not by the end of this year, most likely at some point next. The lightweights continue to reign supreme in boxing. Top-ranked boxing and a Hall of Famer, Bob Arum, the promoter. Believe it or not, folks, still without a streaming deal. What's going on with that? We're hearing they're no closer to that. In fact, tonight they have a show that's going to be seen on their top-ranked channel. That's where they are right now. There is no PBC interest working with them. There is no interest in Paramount. They're going to Dana White and the UFC. So Bob Arum and Top Rank and their esteemed group of fighters and champions, including Xander Zayas at 154, without a streaming network, that remains to be seen where they're headed. And yes, we want you to comment as we go along also, and we'll get to as many of those as we can. Dana White and the Turkeye, of course, they continue to become a force in the sport with their new league, one ring champion, what they want, looking to overturn that Muhammad Ali Act that's for the betterment of the sport and the fighters, and they've come close to doing a lot of that with the California State Athletic Commission agreeing with them to abolish the Muhammad Ali Act, which is terrible. That's bad for the sport. So we'll see where this goes as we continue and end an exciting, and I believe, as always controversial as boxing is, of 2025. And of course, we always have controversy. If it's not with the promoters, it's with the fighters, it's with the general scoring of the judges. Boxing has always been full of controversy. It's been again this year, and it will continue to be as we wind down the year going into this November to remember. That's just the sport, folks. That's how it goes. And so now let me bring in my esteemed co-host and colleague who helps produce the program with me each and every week, Tommy D of TD Sports Talk. Tommy, come on in, my buddy. It's always good having you on and always being a part of Keep It in the Ring. Where are you?
Here I
Oh, there
am.
he is. That's all right. You didn't mute yourself, but I thought you went into the dark, into the clouds.
Nah, not this time. Nah, I might be almost there though, but I'm pretty much good. But
Well, you're keeping busy with this show and so many others you command on YouTube. I don't know how I can't keep up with your schedule. I have to check with you and find out when are you on. Where are you with your
I
group
know.
of followers? And we want everyone to like, comment, subscribe to my channel on YouTube and Tommy DTD Sports Talk and String Punk Entertainment. Comment as we go along, and Tom, of course, bring up those comments as they keep flowing in. All right, Tom, let's take a look. As I just said, it is the look at this month of November, which I think could be a November to remember in boxing, as I said. And immediately I'm going to go jump ahead this to November, which is just a day or so away. Saudi Arabia, the 22nd. And let's take a look again at this card, Ring 4, as they call it. The highlight here, and there are all highlight fights, Benavidez and Yardy for the light heavyweight title. We talked about this a little bit last week. Let's go into it a little more. This an interesting and competitive fight for Benavidez, who is not going to get Demetrio Bivol. We know that. He's not going to move up in weight. He's not going to go back to 168. Yardy poses a significant opponent for him. Don't you think so?
I think he's going to be a significant opponent as well. Yardy's no punk. Yardy's going to come into fight, like he usually does. Especially the first half of the fight. And he packs a big punch. If those that remember Yardy against Benavidez, he hurt Benavidez in that fight early on. And then he kind of ran out of gas, and Benavidez kind of stopped him. Before the final bell of obviously the fight. It didn't go the full 12. But Yardy's going to be a good opponent for Benavidez, who's always on the front foot coming forward, and he has fast hands. So
and he's got some power too, just like Benavidez, which makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, but Benavidez doesn't really, in my opinion, he don't really have that one punch power. He kind of overwhelms you. So I that's why I think this fight is going to be more exciting than maybe what people think. I think you're going to get the first few rounds at least. You might see like a Hagler Hearns type round in the first 3 rounds. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to. I picked Benavidez to win this fight, but I wouldn't be shocked if Yardy maybe lands something and maybe gets an upset.
I've heard that discussion in the last week that Yardy could get an upset, and I've also heard how these two will be punching very hard because they both do that, and they both have fabulous speed, not only with their jabs and going to the body, but the footwork also, Tom. So you might be very much in this, being right about Yardy maybe pulling in this upset. Benavidez, of course, will be going in as the favorite. But this entire card itself, Ring 4 in Saudi Arabia within 3 weeks from now, believe it or not, there is a main event on every one of these fights. All of these fights could be main eventing a different card itself, including Devin Haney and Norman for the WBO welterweight title. And to see where Devin Haney goes after that May 1st fiasco in Times Square in New York earlier this year, and where would he go from there? Is it going to be Teofimo Lopez, assuming he beats Norman? And I got a feeling that Norman's going to win this fight.
Wow, you're picking Norman to win the fight. Okay, listen, this is the most intriguing fight of the year. Why I say intriguing? Because I can see this fight going both ways, and I can see a couple of different ways of how it ends. I like Devin Haney. I'm a fan of Devin Haney. I may not be a fan maybe outside the ring, but inside the ring, Devin Haney fights the top guys. He wants to fight the best guys, and he wants to challenge himself, which a lot of fighters of today are not doing. So you have to praise and give the guy credit. The guy's coming up in weight, challenging for a world title. This will be his 3rd world title in 3 different weight classes. I mean, I think that's special. That's Hall of Fame type accolades, right? And then you got a guy in Brian Norman Jr. who's the current champion in 147. He's hot right now. He's been active, knocking guys out, but he hasn't faced a guy of Haney's, stature.
Right.
Haney has been fighting solid guys. He has a way better resume. So with Haney moving up in weight, Norman is moving up in class, right, as far as opponents. So it's very intriguing. Haney looks good at the weight from what I've seen him sparring. I mean, he looks bigger than Brian Norman. I just don't think he's a big puncher like Brian Norman. But listen, it's boxing. Anything can happen. Like I said, I can see it going any which way. I'm not picking a winner yet, but I will tell you this. I am edging towards Devin Haney because he's the more experienced and the more battle-tested than the two.
And of course, we heard last week exclusively on this program, and it's still on the YouTube channel and your channel as well, and Stream Punk Entertainment, the Teofimo Lopez. That he's not fighting Devin Haney. Why should he fight at 147? That's what he said. And by the way, Tom, Teofimo sent his regards.
Tell Tio I said, what's up? I'll see him soon.
All right. Oh, you will. Maybe get him on your program as well. Thanks for your comments. What do we got coming across the board as we continue?
Well, let me read some of the comments. Mr. Shelton, he says salute to you, Rich, and salute to me. And he says, what's up, Paisan? And he also says, what did Devin Haney do outside the ring, Thomas? And he laughs. I'm not going to talk about it. He knows. He's just, breaking chops here. BBO is coming in saying, I love to talk bad about certain fighters. Guys are just, coming in here saying what's up and saluting us.
So we thank them for their involvement. We want you to keep commenting as we go along. Continue on this Ring 4 card, Tom. Noakes and Mason, Yeah, Tom, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Sorry, one of our members would like to know if you could lend him $100.
I need $100 from him first.
BVO Sports, BVO. You met BVO at the fight, at the Danny Garcia fight. Yeah,
I did.
He calls you Uncle Rich, so
they all call me Uncle Rich, and they all call me a legend, and I'm not. And I'm not far from it. But then we go. That's quite fun. He just made my night. Noakes and Mason, the vacant WBO lightweight title. Not much buzz about this, but this could steal the show.
Listen, Mason, to me, is the future face of boxing, and it can happen after this fight. Noakes, I did a little research on Noakes. I didn't know much about him, and I watched some film on him a little bit. He's got good pop. He can punch. So if Mason's not careful here, which I expect him to be fully careful, I mean, he could be in trouble. But I fully expect Mason to win this fight and maybe stop Noakes. But you never know. Like I said, it's boxing. Anything can happen. Noakes can punch, But Abdullah Mason, there's nothing bad I could say about this.
No, we've seen enough of him in New York, the top rank at Madison Square Garden in the last year to know what he's capable of doing. He's fast, again. He does, and as I always say in a fighter, especially at his weight, the footwork is magnificent, and he's got good jabbing power. He connects. Let's face it, he does. All right, and then you move on, and you have this one: Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez and Martinez, junior bantamweights that don't get the acclaim they deserve. WBA titles for Martinez up for grabs. Tom, this could be another good one at Ring 4.
That's going to be a good one. Let me go back to one of the comments. BVO, who is from Cleveland, just like Abdullah Mason, he's riding with Abdullah Mason. He says that Noakes has a chance to win if he brings brass knuckles. That's his only shot to winning. That's just a comment from a Cleveland guy, just like Abdullah. Of course, you got to root for the home team.
You got to root for the home guy, of course, without a doubt. But I like this Bam Bam Martinez fight. And Martinez. Bam Bam and Martinez, Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez just does not get the attention he deserves in this sport.
It's because the little guys. The little guys don't get much, respect. It's hard to gauge whether they're good or not. And listen, Bam Bam, he's in a tough fight with this kid Martinez. He's been on kind of like a little old man tour. He's been fighting some good names, but kind of guys that have been kind of past their prime. So now he's fighting a young, hungry lion in Martinez. This should be an entertaining, great fight. Listen, top to bottom, this card is going to be exciting.
That's why I said it could be a November to remember in 3 weeks with this card stacked Ring 4 in Saudi Arabia. Again, Benavidez and Yardy highlight it, and of course we'll keep on it and keep updating you and analyze it as we move on in November. But Tom, today, disturbing news again about Gervonta Tank Davis. Of course, the circus fight with Jake Paul and an exhibition of 10 rounds, different weight gloves, whatever. It's an exhibition. We haven't taken this fight seriously. Ticket sales are down, and then we find out today that Gervonta Davis is facing a new civil suit, domestic violence, as ESPN reported. Allegations filed in Miami, Florida, where the fight's going to be held with Jake Paul at the Casilla Center in Miami on November 14th. That's the schedule.
Yeah.
He's been accused of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, implication, emotional distress by the female who presses these charges. This is an ex-girlfriend, by the way. This is not the first we've heard about this about Gervonta Davis. He's had 2 or 3 previous priors with domestic violence, and now this. But then at the same time, Tom, and I want your take on this and everyone else what they think. Just yesterday, they were saying that the reports, the ticket sales are very, very slow, taking it 2 ways. Either the first thought is that there's no interest in this circus of a fight, and now it comes out today that perhaps this is why they said ticket sales are slow, which is probably going to be causing a postponement of the circus, and nobody really wants to see.
I have no idea what to say about this as far as the fight is concerned and as far as the event. I think the fight will go on, and I think the card will go on because it's a stacked undercard. The
It's on
undercard is
Netflix,
actually pretty
too.
yeah. It's on Netflix.
And Gervonta's got supposedly $40 million guaranteed for this, which is hard to believe as well.
Yeah. The undercard is really good. I don't think they stop. But as far as Tank is concerned, listen, nothing's been proven yet. These are just allegations. But if he is proven to be guilty of this, he's done. He's done for. When I first read it, I originally, when I first seen the headlines,
It's hard to understand it. Yeah.
It's hard to understand, but I thought it was the same girl that he's had trouble with.
Me too.
But then when I read it, I was like, oh, wow, this is another girl. Now, also, Rich, you got to think, they said this was in a strip joint. He dragged her to the parking lot. So if this is true, I'm assuming we're going to see video soon. Because they're gonna have to post a video. Somebody's gonna post it eventually.
And when you made it just an interesting point, if this is all legitimate and if this all goes through, and he is indeed implicated and eventually maybe even prosecuted for this because he has the priors, this could be the end of Gervonta Davis, which would be a sad story because he's one of those talented. He's not young anymore; he's about 32 years old, but one of those young superstars in the sport that made history in the sport. I mean, he did a lot. Many considered him a top pound for pound at one time, at least in the top 10, but he went through who he had to go through, and he did say, though, Tom, that his career was coming to an end anyway. He did say last year, or early this year, Barclays Center with Lamont Roach, in that fight, because it was supposed to have a rematch and they're not, that he was not going to fight more than one more time. So maybe it is coming to an end with this or not.
Well, I agree and then I disagree. I disagree a little bit as far as, one of the stars of the sport. I think he's one of the stars, and when you talk about accomplishments, he's still got some, food on the table. There's some contemporaries he hasn't fought yet. But as far as him being an attraction, yeah, man, Tank is a big attraction. He sold out like 7 or 8 straight venues, and I think you get full credit for that because if you could sell tickets, then that's huge, right. and in the sport. But as far as fighting the top guys, he's kind of avoided it recently, in my opinion, in the last few years. So it's up and down.
Even though he holds the WBA lightweight title. But, he's avoided many fighters that want a chance at his title. Yeah. And then he goes to sign to fight the circus, Jake Paul.
Yeah. And it's all for money. And you know what? I get it. If you can sell out the venue and you make your money, I mean, it's a brutal business. I mean, it's a brutal sport. Make your money. But you can't say you're the top guys and you fought everybody when you really haven't fought the guys that the fans want you to fight.
And Jake Paul, and this fight's not going to be on the record. It's an exhibition to make it even worse. It doesn't add to his credibility or his stature, as you say, in the sport at all. So we'll await developments on this. That's a breaking story today. Is the comments are coming in, a bunch of jestys. Is that what he said?
Yeah,
What did he say?
he's going out. Yeah, they're basically at the Tank. They don't agree, and they don't. A lot of people are very very upset with Tank Davis.
Your followers are more with their comments than my followers, Tom. And I like what they say
brutal.
as well.
They're brutal. They don't put no punches.
They could be brutal, yeah. They're not brutal to me though. That's nice. They're not brutal. To
Nah,
me.
everybody treats you well, except
I know.
BBO trying to get $100 from you. That was,
Yeah.
that's something else.
That's another story. Anyway, let's move to the heavyweight division over the weekend on the zone. Heavyweight fight implications in the division. Fabio Wardley upset Joseph Parker at the Qgo Arena in the UK. 11th round stoppage it was. Parker ahead on 2 of the 3 scorecards. Wardley, Usyk, the champion is Usyk, of course. That might be possibly next for Wardley. I didn't catch the fight, just saw highlights of it. But this one of the upsets of the year, Tom.
One of the upsets. I don't think it's a huge upset because Wardley is.
Well, let's say stunning.
Good. Yeah, it's a stunning
win.
upset. A lot of people
Right.
thought Parker was going to win and win easily because Wardley hasn't really looked, to me at least, he hasn't looked as good, and Parker's been on a roll. Parker didn't have to take this fight. Parker was the mandatory to Usyk's title, I believe, through the IBF, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but definitely one of the titles that Usyk has, he was the mandatory. He didn't have to, but he chose to fight Wardley, and meaning if he chose to fight Wardley, that means he thought that he could fully, beat Wardley. And listen, from what I've seen, he was, I didn't see the fight from beginning to end. I've seen highlights as well and spots, but from what I've seen in the first half of the fight, he looked good. He was beating Wardley to the punch.
That's what I saw.
But he gassed out. He came in out of shape, in my opinion. He came in too big and he gassed out. And credit to Wardley, he finished him. I thought the stoppage was a little bit premature, but at the end of the day, Parker wasn't throwing punches back. So I don't think anything was stolen from Parker. But look, credit to Wardley. I hear Wardley says, "All right, if you thought that was the early stoppage, we could run it back." So I mean,
Usyk is running out of opponents to defend his titles. He's going to get Tyson Fury again. But that would be an interesting fight to see next year. If indeed Wardley becomes a mandatory, a fight they want to make in the UK. Because all the heavyweight title fights are taking place in the UK or Saudi Arabia anyway.
Yeah, I don't think. Fury says he's not coming back, so
No.
I don't think.
But I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. Fighters always say that, as I say every week and time again. Fighters retire, they don't retire. They come right back, especially because the money's out there right now and they can get it. And Tyson Fury is not one to stay still. Believe me, you know that.
Yeah,
Boxing world
it's
knows
true.
that.
We'll see. I mean, he got a little taste last week. He was there at the fight in support of Parker as well. But he's very he says he doesn't want to fight. They've asked him again, and I mean, we'll see. Time will tell. But Usyk is running out of opponent. I think he's going to fight Wardley next. I don't see Wardley and Parker fighting again. I think that's going to be the next fight.
Right,
And I think
heavyweight-
Usyk runs circles around Wardley.
Of course, the heavyweight division for years was the face of the sport. It may not be no more, but when Usyk gets in the ring, to many is considered the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world. All right, let's move on and look at Manny Pacquiao. He started his own promotion in the Philippines, and he's going to promote young fighters over there and wherever else he can do it. But why, oh why? He says the talks are ongoing. Mayweather Pacquiao 2 at some time in April reportedly would be at the Sphere in Las Vegas on the Strip. A word of a second fight with Mayweather. Of course, the first one in 2015 broke all types of records at the box office and on pay-per-view. Why, Tom, would they consider? Mayweather hasn't had a real fight since, 4 or 5 years?
It's been a
Well,
little bit longer than that.
Pacquiao, of course, came back this year with Barrios after a 4-year layoff. Retired, unretired. He's in the Hall of Fame. Are they possibly thinking that they are going to make a lot of money doing a second fight? Or is for Mayweather, we don't know what type of shape he's in. We know Pacquiao can still fight, but we don't know about Mayweather. He's only been in exhibitions.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm not interested in this fight. But I have a feeling that there are people that are interested in this fight. So I mean, I think if they do have a fight, I think it will make money. I think it will sell. I don't know how true this is. I don't know how legitimate this is. Um, but people
Sources
want to
tell
see it.
me it's
Yeah.
really legitimate. That it's ongoing talk, and then in April we could see it.
And listen, a lot of people might think Pacquiao will win this time because he's been sort of active and Mayweather hasn't, and a lot of people want to see Mayweather lose. Let's just call it what it is. A lot of people don't like Mayweather; they just want to see him lose. And a lot of people will watch, just like they did when he was fighting, in the second half of his career when he was Money
Yeah.
Mayweather. They watched him because they hoped that he would lose, and that's what they're going to do in this fight as well. If it's not an
Still,
exhibition and it is legitimate, I think it makes money. I think people will watch it and he'll do well.
no, it's going to count to the record, and of course he retired at 50-0, undefeated fighter, first one to do that next to Rocky Marciano, the Great Rock. I don't want to see it. I hope it doesn't happen. And to me, and if it does, it's not going to make the money the first fight did. This is a different era. Even 5, 6 years later, whatever it was, 10 years ago, 2015. I remember I covered that fight. I was out there for that, and the buzz at the first one was unbelievable. Not for this if they do it again. Anyway, December 6th, PBC on Prime. Pay-per-view, San Antonio, Texas. Stephen Fulton, Oshaki Foster, rescheduled because the Keith Thurman-Fandura fight main event was postponed. They were supposed to be co-main to that. It's Foster's first defense of junior lightweight title. Fulton is keeping his WBC featherweight title, looking to be a two-division champ at the same time. So, Tom, we're going to get to see it December 6th.
Hopefully we get to see it. This is like the second or third postponement already this year. I feel bad for Oshaki Foster. He hasn't fought in about a year already. So hopefully this happens. I think this is a great fight. I'm going with Oshaki in this fight. I think unless if Oshaki starts slow, I don't think he wins. I think he has to start fast. Oshaki's usually a slow starter, but I'm riding with Oshaki. Now, there's a part of me here because I'm very selfish. There's a part of me here that would like to see Cool Boy win, and that's only because then he'll give up, that featherweight title, and then Shushu will get to fight, for that title because he's the next in line for that title.
And it's Fulton, of course, again looking to become a two-division champ at the same time. So that'll be interesting, something to look forward to on December 6th. And then the highlight also in this was Pitbull Cruz and Lamont Roach. Of course, Roach didn't get Gervonta Davis again, but now he's got Pitbull Cruz for the vacant WBC interim junior welterweight title. And Jarbek versus Rasandi Landa. And that would be the IBF and WBO middleweight titles and Lara's WBA title. And then Jesus Ramos against Shane Mosley Jr. for the vacant WBC interim middleweight title. So December 6th looks like a good one. PBC on Amazon Prime if everything goes to plan.
It does seem like a good one. There's some good comments here. Everybody's going against me as I'm rocking with Shockey Foster. I got 3 guys here saying Foster's about to get spanked. Somebody else got Fulton. Another one on Fulton. So I guess I'm in the minority here because I'm the only one.
I have no pick.
No pick yet?
I haven't picked it yet. No, because I haven't analyzed it really.
Okay.
You know me, I analyze. I have to research and analyze before I'm going to do anything, So,
okay. Everybody's going with Fulton. I'm very shocked at this. Wow. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm shocked at. I mean, you like who you like. I mean, I like both fighters. Don't get me wrong. I think Foster's the better fighter. The only thing is Foster's inactivity. He's been out for longer than Fulton's been at least more active than he has. So.
Yep. All right. We'll see. December 6th. How about this one? Subriel Mateus reportedly versus Dalton Smith. WBC Junior Welterweight title. Barclays Center in the new year. 10 rounds. 10 rounds. Mateus 23-2, 22 knockouts in defense of his WBC.
It can't be 10. It's got to be 12 rounds.
Oh, 12 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
12.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry about that, folks. Thinking 10. I'm thinking it's not an exhibition. Mateus is 23-2, Tom. 22 knockouts. First defense of his WBC championship. He took it from Alberto Pulo. Remember back in July in Flushing at the Arthur Ashe Tennis Center in Flushing and the ring card?
Yes.
So they've been talk about this after Smith's last win with Eddie Hearn there in the background. But they're going to do it in New York. That's where they want to do it, at Barclays Center, and they're going to do it. They're doing it in January in New York.
January in New York. It looks like it's confirmed. I thought it was going to be on a ring card. Apparently, it's not. I think his Matthias's promotions, Fresh Promotions, I believe is the name of it. They won the purse bid, so they're putting on the show in the Barclays in New York, which I think is going to be great. I just hope there's a good undercard to support it. The winner of this will fight Puello, I think. I think Puello is the next in line to get the rematch or fight the winner. So I'm all for it, and it's going to be here in New York. I think that's great. I think it's good for the Puerto Rican fan base who came out and supported him.
Mateus wanted that.
Yeah,
he wanted that. Yeah, he wanted New York for that Puerto Rican fan base, and he's going to get it. And this
I'm going to be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. Barclays Center. Yep, we'll be there. I know I'll be there. You will too, right, Tom?
I'll definitely be there. There's without a doubt. I am already there in spirit, and I'll be there in person the day of the fight. I got a comment saying it won't go 12, and I already know he's picking. So I don't think it goes 12 either. I got Matthias.
Certainly won't go 10.
I mean, I could get stopped in 10.
And it's not an exhibition. One of the early fights in the new year to look forward to in New York. All right, how about Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia? Sergio Mora from the Zone, the former champ fighter.
The guests can't get in. Let me just put it in here.
Yeah, I got a text message from him as well, so we'll deviate and make sure he can get in. But let's continue before we get to that and take a look at Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia. Sergio Mora had some comments. He's telling Ryan Garcia, because Ryan's going after Oscar. Oscar's trying to defend himself. He says that Ryan Garcia is still under contract with Golden Boy. And Sergio said, you haven't been around to say anything to what Oscar achieved. In other words, you cannot say anything that Oscar was not this, not that. And the truth of the matter is, Ryan Garcia hasn't achieved anything. He's never won a title. So Sergio Mora is absolutely right about that. But the story here again is that Ryan Garcia, once again, at war with his promoter at Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
I don't even know what to say about this anymore with this guy, Ryan. And, De La Hoya's obviously frustrated, but, De La Hoya kind of, sides with him as too. He kind of babies him at the same time. So, I mean, I don't know what De La Hoya wants. He babies him, he defends him, and then he gets at him. So, listen, I'm not a fan of Ryan. De La Hoya is kind of, drawing me away from him as well. And, the things that he says and does. I honestly, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I really got no comment on this.
No, but I thought I'd put it up because it made some news. That's why.
Yeah, they always make. Ryan is always going to find a way to get in this news.
The time.
All the time.
He's been very quiet, and he changed a little bit with his comments, and he hasn't been on social media as much with all his followers, 1 million of them or so. So I don't know what's up with this, but Oscar De La Hoya is not liking what he's hearing. And he's made. All right. Tom, we're supposed to have our martial arts guest coming on. We having difficulty lining him up?
I just sent the link in the chat. I went to your channel and I put it there as well. All he has to do is click the link and I'll let him in. So Let me see. He hasn't responded yet.
All right. So what we're going to do in the meantime, we're going to deviate because we do that because we're live. And I want to line up Xavier Daniels, who's in martial arts champion and instructor in the New York City area, who I know real well. We're going to put him on as soon as we line him up. But until we do that, rather than me gabbing and Tom going on, me back and forth, we're going to take a timeout. That's the best thing to do. And read some more comments before we take this quick break, Tom, and line them up.
Okay, yeah, they're basically here's a good one. He says I'm not going to read the first one. He says Dev is cool at Ryan. No one else should feel a way about him. A sarcastic remark from Opulent and LD. BVO is says Ryan is on, and our guest is just copped on. Ryan is doing drugs basically. That's what BVO saying. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. But the guest is on. I think he's got to
Oh, we
get
got
his
him?
camera to work. His
All
camera
right.
is not on though.
Oh, well, I was hoping. In the meantime, let's play this brief video package of this young man, 31 years old, Xavier Daniels. We're deviating, we're still keeping in the ring, but we do it all here because it is a combat sport. Xavier Daniels is young, still relatively young. He trains in the martial arts. He's been competing in the martial arts, also does some boxing as well. Very interesting story with him. I was his journalism instructor with a consulting program in the Bronx at one of the local high schools. That's how we met. And yet he went on and was always keeping himself fit, and martial arts has been his thing. Tom, let's play a brief package, and we'll put him on, maybe with camera or not, talk to him about it. Here's Xavier Daniels in action. Take a look. Some Bruce Lee type action, and there he is live on the screen. Nice to line him up. There he is, Xavier
Hey
Daniels
guys.
from the Bronx.
Hey.
Hey, Xavier, great having you, my friend. We've been talking a lot, spending a little time together, working on some of your projects, and this is interesting. We deviate a little deeper in the ring. Tom's a big boxing guy, so am I, but so are you, as well as the martial arts. And let's get to it. Briefly, what have you been up to? And because what did we just see? What did we just see?
Okay. So basically, what you saw is a montage of a bunch of the Instagram clips that I have up on my Meta Marshall page, and it's shows a little bit of the history that I've gone through. I started training in karate, or karate, as Americans say, when I was just 10 years old. I'm 30. I'm going to be 32 next month. Um, but I've since training in traditional Japanese martial arts, I've branched off into so many other different martial arts. I went from karate to American kickboxing to a little bit of yeah, that's my dad right there. To a little bit of taekwondo. My first paid martial arts gig was teaching taekwondo, actually, even though I was a black belt in karate. My kicks were so good that they just was like, hey, we'll teach you how to do forms and you can teach at our school. Then I got into a little bit of grappling. I did wrestling in high school, and the latest art or combat sport that I have taken on is actually boxing. I've been doing boxing for the past 6 years, and the way that I actually got into it is funny. I have a friend of mine, Jose, that I met through some political organizing. I met Jose, and he turns out he was a boxer and a fitness coach. And he found out I was a martial arts instructor. So we started training together, and he just introduced me to the whole world of boxing, and I've been hooked ever since.
Good, Tom.
Okay. Okay. Jose is. I mean, there's a lot of Jose's, but I do know a Jose that used to box. He's from the Bronx as well.
They call him Raja or Machete.
Okay, so it's not the same.
He
Okay, I thought.
he goes to John's boxing gym still now, and
Okay.
we actually worked as partners for a nonprofit organization called Access, or the X Project, with a physical therapist named Lawrence, and we
Okay.
worked alongside him as trainers to help people who had spinal cord injuries so that they can improve their physical and mental health through doing like boxing from sitting in a wheelchair, for example. They can't use their legs, but they can box. Or they
Okay.
can
Wow.
lift weights or stuff. Do
Interesting.
exercise like
That's
that.
Xavier Daniels from the Bronx, who's a martial arts instructor and also a competitor. Xavier, I got to ask you about this sport and this competition. Is it popular? Is it getting more popular? Where does this stand, martial arts, right now?
Well, right now, martial arts is very popular, and mixed martial arts, or MMA in particular, is even more popular. And the reason is because I would say UFC. Everybody knows. Hey, what's up, Albie? Everybody knows about Ultimate Fighter Championship. You know, um, for boxing has been super popular in American culture and American tradition for decades. Um, but ever since Japanese and Chinese um, martial arts, really Asian martial arts, have seeped and made their way into American culture. We know Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee was one of the first pioneers, Jet Li, they've been on the big screen, and they introduced Asian martial arts and Asian combat sports into American culture. And that started the whole UFC thing, which became popularized through television as well. And now Americans want to learn, they want to learn Asian style combat sports. Boxing is cool, and boxing is also involved in UFC. You can't go into UFC without some boxing training, because boxing, we have all different kinds of sports. If you want to know how to do the best kicks, you go to a taekwondo instructor. If you want to know how to punch, right, you go to a boxer, right? There are certain things that certain styles specialize in that you can't really go to any other style to know how to do that better. Now, UFC and mixed martial arts is a combination of all those styles, and that's why it works beautifully.
Yeah, it does. And I've been a commentator on Muay Thai events, amateur level, and I got to tell you, compared to boxing, and Tom, I think I've explained this to you as well. It's so different. The crowd is different. The ambience of the whole thing, and the camaraderie, and how the two competitors at the end bow to each other, even get down on their knees, and they praise each other with that camaraderie is unbelievable. And that got to me, because that's not boxing. That's not how it works in boxing.
No.
I know that.
I have two nephews that train, and they fight kickboxing, and they actually train in John's gym from time to time. I don't know if you've seen. They're twins. So the last name Rodriguez, but they're twins, and they train. They do like the kickboxing. So, and they're small guys. So I forgot what weight. They might fight at like 120 something like that. So if you see them, they're Rodriguez, Tony and Carlos. So if you see them in John's gym, tell them that you know me.
How much training do you do, Xavier? Let the people know. What's involved here? Because I'm sure you're in great shape. What is there any difference in the training methods from you and a fighter or any other individual involved in combat sports? Is a similar technique?
Well, as a martial arts teacher who's been teaching for 14 years, I always have to stay fit in the gym. I have to be doing something, right? So I run, I jump rope, I lift light weights, heavy weights. I'm always stretching, making sure my flexibility is peak level. I hit the bag, I do pad work, and sometimes I spar, even go out, I'll visit other schools, or I'll go to the park with some of my other martial arts friends, and we'll fight, we'll spar. But if I'm preparing for a fight, go out there and see competition, then I basically just kick my training into overdrive. Like
Tom, as he's talking about that briefly, can you show again that video montage that we have on Xavier, and how he kicks and how high he goes up with that kick?
I would have to, let me see if I could present it
Can you
better.
do it? If not, because
the way I have it, it plays straight through. But let me try to present it. Give me a minute, and I'll do that while y'all talk. Let me try to.
Xavier, that requires a lot of athleticism and technique to kick the way you do, and to the height that you reach to get someone. Well, maybe let's take a look at this kick wherever you
Yeah,
did this.
that's a
But
jump. That's a jump spinning crescent
how
kick.
high are you going there?
I would say my foot is about probably like 8 feet in the air.
Wow. And do you get hurt? Have you been hurt?
No, I've never been hurt that way. I've never been hurt that way.
So you know how to land. Look at, and then you got the boxing technique, and
That's Ruben. That's my student Ruben.
and you hit
and
the
that's-
bags like a fighter does. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
And
also
the kick.
I'm-
And
I
you
also
act. You're doing some acting roles as well.
Yes, that's another thing I wanted to mention, that I'm also an actor. I've been doing stage acting, that is theater, since I was 10 years old. I did some Broadway plays like Fiddler on the Roof and Guys and Dolls. So I'm also a singer. I'm mainly an operatic singer. I've done musicals and things of that nature. So I'm a multi-talented person. And it's always been my dream since I was a child to be a martial arts action movie star. So the whole acting together with the martial arts just goes perfectly well. And my friend came in here, who's the guy that I'm sparring with in this choreography, is another friend of mine who likes to act and do martial arts as well. So we just came together and did this cool project. That's my student Ruben there, and that's my really good friend and student Genghis, whom I met at the school of a kung fu.
I need Genghis to be my bodyguard. He's a huge looking dude.
Oh, Genghis is awesome. I've known Genghis for about a year and a half now, and he's just been so kind to me, and he also possesses a lot of knowledge of martial arts himself. He's been doing bodyguarding for many years as well. And
This is Xavier
and bouncing.
Daniels from the Bronx. Xavier, let me just tell. Did you Bruce Lee in you at all?
Did I have? Well, I was inspired by Bruce Lee when I was a child.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask.
I can remember sitting down watching kung fu flicks with my uncle Gilbert, who was actually the very first martial arts instructor that I ever had. I remember I was about 7 years old when he took my leg and physically picked it up into the air and told me to hold it there for as long as I could. So when you see me holding up pictures of me holding up my foot in the air, or videos doing that, you can thank my uncle Gilbert, because he was the first one to teach me how to do that. But yeah, I was inspired by Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, mainly Jet Li. And the reason why I say Jet Li is because Jet Li is not just a good martial artist, but he's also a great actor, in my opinion. The way that he conveys his emotion when he's punching, when he's kicking. If his master dies in the movie, you're going to know the fury and the wrath and the anger, and you're going to see that in his face. He's very passionate when he's acting. It's as if he's been through these very things that it's as if he's been through these things that the characters have been through that he's playing in the movie.
Why martial arts, not boxing or MMA?
Well, I guess when I was a kid, I was just exposed to martial arts movies. I didn't really watch too much boxing. So when I was 10 years old, the karate school that I joined really solidified my obsession with the Asian martial arts for about, I would say, over 10 years. And so that's all I focused on until I met my friend Jose, who introduced me to boxing. And it's crazy because my karate skills only make me a better boxer.
Okay.
Right? If you look at some of Mike Tyson's training videos, his instructor talked about how he observed karate practitioners, the way that they moved their head, when they were fighting, and the deep horse stance. Yeah, and the deep horse stances that they use, and he implemented some of that in Mike Tyson's training. I'm also I'm also very into Mike Tyson. I'm very inspired by him. I love his style of boxing. I love the way he moves his head and his torso and his upper body when he's boxing.
But you have your own style that you learned and you picked up on. Yeah.
I have my own style, but the more I practice boxing, the more I want to go back to doing Asian martial arts, and the more I do Asian martial arts, the more I want to go back to boxing, because I realize that all combat sports are connected. They're connected by the laws of body mechanics and the laws of physics. It's all science, right? It's science. It's angles. how it's the body flowing. It's the body acts as a conduit
Exactly.
for energy.
Yeah. True.
So
That's
it's
right.
everywhere. I
Tom,
also want to give a shout
we're
out
running
to,
out. We're running, Xavier.
Right.
We're running out of time. Go ahead, Tom. We're going to wrap
Yeah.
it up with him,
No,
Xavier.
let
Go
him
ahead.
continue. He's going to shout out. Go ahead. What do you
Yeah.
shout out?
I want
Sure.
to give a shout out to Salvanim, who has been a very good teacher and role model in my life. I want to give a shout out to my instructor Seiko Hanchi Rick Diaz and his wife Susan Friedman. They've been like a mother and father to me. They've been with me since I was 10 years old. They show me nothing but love and kindness, and they've been very generous. And my karate instructor Seiko Hanchi Rick Diaz basically gave me a lot of access to a lot of opportunities in life, and I owe all of my success to him, because this is how I make my living. This is how I transform people's lives, and this is how I change myself every single day.
Well
and I want to
said.
give a shout out to my dad, Uncle Albie, Eric, all the people out there watching me, all my supporters, Genghis. I love you guys so much. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you coming on because I know how busy young man you are. Tom, any final thoughts, Xavier?
I got one question. I mean, so you're basically making your living, you're training and working with others and showing them, teaching them martial arts, and I guess you're working out with them as well. But have you thought about, becoming pro and competing as a professional?
Yeah, especially now that I'm going to be turning 32, I always consider, well, the last time I competed in a tournament was when I was 24, and any potential students that I take on in the future, I want them to know that I'm not just a teacher, or I'm not just an enthusiast. Like, I'm a fighter. I've been fighting, I've been competing in tournaments since I was 10 years old. And I fight, and you can ask my instructor, anybody that's seen me in tournaments, I can fight, and I like to fight. But you got to train for that, and when you're running a business and you're teaching, it's kind of hard to, be a competitor at the same time. But I do intend on competing in the future. I'm getting ready for it.
Okay,
So
that's what's up. I mean, listen.
Don't forget Michelle. Who's Michelle?
Yes, Michelle. So there's two Michelles. There's my Aunt Michelle from my mom's sister, who also looked out for me a lot during my ups and my downs, and also Michelle Suarez, who is the mother of my brother, whom I consider to be like a second mother to me as well. And she took me under her wing a long
story.
time ago.
Tom, go ahead. I'm sorry I cut you
Well, I was going to
off.
say, well, if you do decide to do that and you start to compete, and you're looking for sponsors or looking for promotion, you can always come to us, Rich, myself. I'm a big supporter of the Bronx and a Bronx athlete. I used to coach Little League baseball. I support the fighters in the Bronx, and so if you do decide and you need some promotion, you're trying to sell tickets or whatever the case may be, you're always welcome to come back on the platform and let us know, when your events are happening.
I've known him since he
Thank you.
was a
Appreciate
kid,
that.
16, 17 years old. I was his journalism instructor.
Yes,
And
sir. Yes,
he's
sir.
a good writer as well. But I didn't know he was this deep into martial arts till a few years later. Xavier Daniels, where can, first of all, where do people find you on social media? How do they get involved? They want to take a lesson from you? Go ahead. Your opportunity to let that out right now.
So there's two ways you can get in contact. Mainly, you can visit www.metamartial, that's MARTIAL.com, metamartial.com, and also check out my Instagram page, that's metamartial, where you have access to my business phone number. If you want to take classes with me, you can sign up for a trial lesson on my website. I teach in Chelsea, Manhattan, and also on the Upper West Side.
And we'll get the word out, and I'm sure I'm going to see you soon. Probably even if tomorrow, because we're working on some things together. This has been great. Tom, I learned something from him that I haven't learned from him in as much time as I've been spending with him the last week.
No, it was very good to have you on.
Yeah.
I did know some of the things you said, but you kind of confirmed it as a guy that I took martial arts when I was younger, but not as as you did, and you have, and you also teach it as well. So I knew some of the things as how some combat sports go together, but you just help confirm what I kind of knew, and for the people that are watching, let them know that they both go together, and you can learn from each one to make yourself a better fighter as well. So that was very good.
That's right.
It's explaining that.
Yeah, it's all about humility every single combat art is connected. There's no art which is superior to another. They just have different styles and different functions and different methods. That's all.
Xavier, this has been great. Educational. Learned a lot. You're a well-spoken young man and knows his craft, as I say all the time. What do you do now when you end an interview with a martial arts? Is this what you do, like that?
You can do this, right? A lot of kung fu practitioners like this. If you're Muay Thai, right?
Okay.
Or you could just say "us," say "us."
Oh, what is it? What?
Ois.
Please, I have enough problems trying to I can't pronounce people's names right.
That is a good point.
A lot of Japanese martial arts practitioners, they say "os."
Ois. Okay, Tom, remember that. Tom, ois.
When I see you at the next fighting event, I will definitely do one of those and say ois. I'll definitely.
And
Absolutely.
I'll do this. Xavier Daniels, thanks, my friend. I'm going to say, as always, keep it in the ring.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Salute.
Be in touch. Tom, that's Xavier Daniels. We learned a lot. That was fun. It was good.
No, very educational, very
I
informative.
knew you'd like
well.
it. That's why.
No,
That's why I built
good.
them. I hope the fans got a little lesson.
That
because
video
he
was
gave-
great too, and I'm glad I played it the way I did. I got to freeze frame the kicks. That was pretty nice.
I knew you would do it the right way. You always do. We'll be in touch with Xavier and keep everyone posted about him. But Tom, I didn't give him the fact because it has nothing to do with martial arts. I'm going to give it to you. It's not even boxing. Before we take the break that we're well overdue on doing, we need to take a break. But I got to give you the fact. It's pro wrestling fact, which will lead us into the pro wrestling stuff when we come back from our brief break. Tom, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You know, WWE, AEW, we're getting guys that are going back and forth. It's happened in the last month. It's happened in the last year or two with AEW now in the picture, of course. Now, what can you name me three wrestlers that have gone back and forth, even of recent? WWE, AEW, WWE, back to AEW, and so forth, vice versa?
Just those
Three
two.
names.
Those two organizations, AEW and WWE. So Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. This is a fact, not trivia. Right?
Cody
What do
Rhodes.
you got? Cody's
I got
one.
Cody
Go
Rhodes.
ahead.
That guy Aleister Black. And
He's not on my list, but he could qualify. Give me the two others that I have of recent.
Cody, Aleister Black.
There's quite
Jericho
a few.
went from WWE to AEW. But you're saying they have to go to AEW and come back?
Yeah, and they went back to WWE, or they went WWE back to AEW. And it's becoming a revolving door.
I know Aleister Black is definitely one.
Cody's
He went WWE,
another.
Cody's two, and
Two of them are there now. One of them recent.
not Bobby Lashley, is it? Bobby Lashley?
Well, Lashley's in that group, and not recent.
Bobby, okay. MVP, no MVP. I can't get it.
He's in that group, and not recent. Well, here's the two. Recent.
Okay.
CM Punk.
That's I should have got that one.
And the other one is Rusev.
And Rusev, so it went from WWE to AEW and back to WWE. You're right. Yeah.
There you go.
Mr. Black is one for sure because he started WWE and went. So so that was the other one.
He's definitely one of them.
Okay.
You got most of it, Tom. Great. Fact of the week, but you still didn't get the whole thing.
No, I didn't. I messed up.
All right, let's take this brief time out. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Tommy D. Keep it in the ring. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, String Punk Entertainment, TD Sports Talk, and like the Keep It in the Ring page. Back with the pro wrestling. We got a lot of that. Plus a UFC note, and we got a lot more to go. We're going to go past 9 p.m. Eastern. Stay with us. Let's keep it in the ring.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
And welcome back to Keep It in the Ring. Rich Mancuso, Tommy D, TD Sports Talk on my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. We want to hear your comments. Thanks for those that have been coming in. Tom, let's get this UFC note in first with some controversy over the weekend. Tom Aspinall was upset, been hospitalized here afterwards with eye poked, both eyes at the hands of Cyril Kane. UFC 321. The accidental poke of both eyes by Kane in the first round, unable to continue, was Aspinall. And Dana White has said they will rematch in the octagon because of the way this ended. The fans, they were also very, very upset. What did you make of that, Tom? I know you're not big on UFC, but that was
I didn't see it. I heard about it. I read about it. But I honestly, I can't give an opinion. I did not watch it, live. So
yeah. Well, it just like boxing, UFC, MMA also has some controversy in there. We saw one right there. All right, pro wrestling time. After that great fact of the week I gave Tom that he didn't get the whole thing. He tried. I'm going to give him credit. And let's first take a look at Saturday Night Main Event. Not on NBC Live Saturday night. It's at Peacock, 7 p.m. Eastern. Interesting. That's part of the deal. Peacock gets the main events once WWE shifted and went to ESPN with their pay-per-views and PLEs, as they call them now. And, of course, the main event is there, McIntyre and Rhodes for the title. Tom, any thoughts on who you think are going to win this?
McIntyre, both are interesting. I feel like Rhodes is going to go over and win, but I feel like that's an obvious pick. But usually Saturday night's main event, you don't really see title changes. So I think Cody goes over. I'm very interested to see what happens with Punk and Uso. I feel like there's going to be some type of
that's
change.
Talk about. Yeah, that's for the world title. Yeah. Now you talk about Jey Uso turning heel, and maybe he'll do this in this match with Punk, because you see those things happening the way Uso's been talking to his brother Jimmy and everything else. But there's a lot on the line there if you turn Jey Uso heel. Merchandising, popularity, all of that,
His intros is one of the best intros in wrestling. He comes out to the crowd. The fans love him. He's very over, right? Guys, the word over in the wrestling term. It's a good thing, And I think you turn him heel, he's not that over, and then, you can't come through the crowd anymore and, high-five the little kid. So I don't think he turns heel. I know people may think that, but I don't think, they want to do that to his brand right now.
Then I think Punk will get the title, though, finally.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to get Rollins. He's on the show for a year, a little more. I think Punk gets the title. Women's title, of course, Jay Cargill turned heel on SmackDown. Tiffany Stratton on the way out for some reason, personal stuff or whatever. So I see Jay Cargill winning the title on Saturday Night Main Event.
Yeah, I see it, and I think it was a good heel turn. I think people have been waiting for this heel turn. They've just been trying to get, Jay to kind of get her work a little bit better as far as her in-ring work, and I think she's gotten a little better as time goes on. She had that nasty cut in the previous, I think, pay-per-view, so I like it. I like Jay turning heel. I think she's going to be better as a heel, and I like her. Maybe now they could get the feud with her and Bianca like they wanted to from the get-go.
And finally, we're seeing Jay Cargill get the push, and she's been there over a year now in between injuries and such. This added Dom Mysterio, Rusev, and Penta triple threat for the IC title. When are they going to take that title off Dom Mysterio? I'm hearing this might happen Saturday night.
He's one of the best heels they got. They can't do that to my man Dirty Dom.
Well, what about them turning him face? They could do that.
Nah, he's not ready to be a face yet. Unless because who he's with, one of my greats, Americano,
Ray?
Mexicano.
I knew you. Which one?
Well, all of them.
It's Kaiser or Gable.
Chad is hurt. He should be back. I think he's going to come back
Well, that's,
in the beginning of next year.
Kaiser under the mask.
Yeah, that's definitely Kaiser. But
Get rid of El Grande Americano. I can't stand it, or whatever they call him. Enough.
I love it. I love the gimmick. I love the extra ones. The other two. I don't know who they are, but I love all the Grande Americanos. I love them all. And I like Dirty Dom, so they better not take the strap from him. He's got to hold the strap.
I think Dom will retain it and go into the Survivor Series with something big. By the way, one of the Survivor Series matches for sure, War Games match, going to be Wyatt Six against the money team, Family Tree, Sokoa and the whole family. That's going to be one of them. Survivor Series 3 weeks away. So Saturday Main Event is going to be their big show before that. So it's on Peacock, remember, not NBC, but just Peacock Saturday night. Tom, get well wishes here. Two wrestling stars who are Hall of Famers, WWE as well, that I've worked with, including this guy, who we got up first? Mike Rotunda? Yeah.
Mike Rotunda,
IRS,
one of my favorites.
Father of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas, in hospice care right now. Don't know... what the severity of it is, but he's in hospice care and is being taken care of. We wish him well, good wishes. And a guy that I had some run-ins with before we worked together, Larry Shreve, the great Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah, Abdullah the Butcher.
He's not doing well either. Now, quick story on this, because when I first met Abdullah, Larry Shreve, I picked him up in a car to take him to, we're doing an independent show up in New Hampshire somewhere, way back. So, I walk in the car, I say, "Hello, Larry. Nice meeting you." We had never met before. He turns around and comes to the car and says, very fierce, "What did you call me?" I said, "Larry, that's your name, isn't it?" He goes, "You call me Abdullah. That's my name." And I tell you right now, I was petrified. I want to get out of that car because when he was not in the ring, Abdullah the Butcher, Larry Shreve, would really play the role outside. He was what the kayfabe, that's a term in wrestling.
Yeah.
But he was being the real thing there, and he was scary. We made peace and all that, but here's another story. We got to get to the venue, and we pick him up, and he sees a bar on a road somewhere, and realize we're in a car there, and I'm in the car with him, and I forgot who the other wrestler or two were. And we got to stop now. I was with one of the referees. I said, "What do you got to do?" I said, "I got to go get a drink." Now, this son of a gun made us late because he stayed in that bar for over an hour to get to the venue. And I'm not going to tell you why he went in there besides the drink. All right? Take a guess. All right? But as far as a showman and what he did in the ring, and let alone, he's still with us, but he's not well. Abdullah the Butcher was one of the best, and you could touch his forehead. Was like a roadmap. You touch it, and it would open up and bleed, because that's what he did. He was known for the bleeding, and at that time, red, they said, became green, meaning the blood became money, and he was known for that. So, but we wish him well. We wished him and Mike.
You're lucky he didn't hit you with the fork.
I know. I thought that was doomed that day. And I was a rookie in the business as well, but that's a story I had to tell, be in my eventual book when I get around to doing it. As far as AEW Full Gear, November 22nd, Prudential Center, Newark, New Jersey. Tom, you and I should go to that. We really should.
In the Prudential Center?
Yeah.
I don't know. AEW?
Well, you're going to Samoan Joe and Hangman Page again. They played that skit last night. Hangman Page was Tony Schiavone. And
when is that supposed to be?
November 22nd.
Well, that's the same day as the the Devin Haney fight. But that fight is going to be during the day because it's in Saudi Arabia. So that might actually...
So maybe we can do it. Maybe he'll go with me. I want to go to that. I want to meet Tony Khan again. That's what I want to do, because they have their post-WrestleMania wrestling press
if you could get me a credential to that,
I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
I got a credential. I'll go.
Remind me. I'll
Okay.
try. And then considering John Moxley, Darby Allin will continue the Death Riders. AEW, I don't know what they do.
I know you had something. I don't know if you wanted to mention anything here. I know Brock Reigns and.
All
Cody.
right. Yes, glad you brought it up. The vignettes they've been playing, and everyone was wondering who's coming out of that limo with the dark boot. And everybody's speculating it may be the return of Chris Jericho, because he's rumored to be coming back to WWE as one of those guys. But as it is, it's the promos for WrestleMania Vegas in April, and they have Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. There may be a triple threat, Ben, come April, mid-April next year in WrestleMania, 2-night event in Vegas again at Allegiant Stadium. That's what the vignettes were. There was a lot of buzz with the wrestling fans. Who was coming out of that limo? What was going on? Well, there's your answer right there. Thanks for reminding me to put that up for WrestleMania. Everyone thought it'd be Chris Jericho.
I hope it's Chris Jericho.
He's coming back.
You know, Chris Jericho is one of my favorite of all time.
I know what shape he's in anyway. All right, fans, that's a Pro Wrestling Report. Tom, we're going to take one quick final break and timeout. Come back with nostalgia, wrap this all up. Keep it in the ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Tommy D. Live on my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tommy D Sports Talk Facebook page. And keep it in the ring like that as well. And String Punk Entertainment. Back with nostalgia after this, and we'll wrap it all up. Stay with us.
Petwell Clinic was built with busy pet parents like you in mind, providing walk-in preventative vet care, treatment for minor ailments, and chronic condition management. You remain with your pet throughout their visit, and all charges are clearly explained, so there are no surprises at checkout. Just walk in to our Paramus, Greenbrook, or Union locations, or visit us at petwellclinic.com for more information.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Hope you've enjoyed Keep It in the Ring this final Thursday in October 2025 as we get ready for November with the boxing and everything else. Tom, let's get to the nostalgia. We got two clips on this, but first let's look at October 28, 1978. Wilfredo Gomez with the 5th round TKO over Carlos Zarate, San Juan, Puerto Rico, defending his WBC Super Bantamweight title for the 6th time. Then Zarate moved to 122 pounds. Both fighters combined record then going in 73-0-1 with 72 knockouts. Their highest KO percentage for two fighters for a world title fight at that time. Do you have a clip of that, Tom?
Yep.
Let's show it. Gomez and Zarate. Comment over it, Tom.
Yeah, this is a little round one. They just the opening bell coming out. You know, both fighters undefeated. A quick note about this fight: both fighters came in overweight in the initial weigh-in, right? And then they both on the second attempt, Gomez made weight, and then Zarate, it took him like a few times. I think it took him like 3 or 4 times for him to make weight. There's a rumor and there's word that Zarate supposedly had pneumonia or a bad cold the week before the fight as to why he was weak in this fight. That's what they say. But this was a great fight for as much as it lasted. It lasted to, I believe, the 5th round. So I'm going to skim through it real quick. But
remember, this was then the highest KO percentage of two fighters in a world title fight at that time, October 28, 1978.
Yep,
and you can see why. Look at the punching going on here in this round.
Yeah, it was an exciting fight. They were both throwing bombs, and they didn't like each other. And this was part of the it just kind of the beginning of the Mexico versus Puerto Rico wars and the rivalry. So this was definitely part of it as well.
And it still goes on today. It's a heavy rivalry, Mexico Puerto Rico fighters. Yep.
Yep, and then he dropped Zarate, I believe, twice in the 5th round. He hit him late after the bell. You're gonna watch. So look at this. Like this is I think that was the first knockdown as you see there, right. And then the second knockdown, I think it was after the bell, if I'm not mistaken. I did watch this a while ago. Replay, of course. I think it was like a year old when this happened.
The entire fight is on YouTube, by the way. Everyone could log in and see this great action.
That was it. And then the third knockdown in the fifth, and then the corner stopped the fight. They threw in the towel. But look at Gomez went in.
He went in. Who did he remind you of there currently today?
Today, Gomez?
Yeah, who does he remind you of?
You know what? You might get at me, but a little bit of Keith Cologne. I mean, that ruthlessness.
He's got that. Yeah, yeah, he's got that.
There, especially
Our
on that
friend Keith Cologne, who won his latest fight last week, is now 8-0, 8 knockouts. Yeah, good point. October 28, 1978. Great action. Wilfredo Gomez, Carlos Zarate. Thanks for loading that up, Tom. But now we look at history, and we celebrate today, October 30th, 1974. Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. Remember? Can't believe it was like yesterday. Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire, 8th round knockout. Retaining the World Heavyweight Championship was Ali. Let's take a look, Tom.
He took the title in this fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and Ali became the second fighter ever, following Floyd Patterson winning the heavyweight title a second time. And there he was with his buddy, the late Howard Cosell, who called the fight at ringside. He was known, Ali and Cosell, going back. Let's take a look, some action of this, as we celebrate October 30th, 1974.
Look at the face-off.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to round one. I'll play a little bit of round one
here. A lot of fighters talk about how they emulate and love Muhammad Ali's style.
And this was
and this was the face of boxing, the heavyweight division.
And this was the introduction to the rope-a-dope, right? The rope-a-dope.
Right.
The famous rope-a-dope was in this fight. So this is just round one. And
historic fight in boxing history. What is that now? 1974. What are we?
1974. 51 years ago.
51 years ago.
Right. If my math is correct, I could be wrong.
No. I think it's 51 years ago.
51 years
ago. I watched it as a young kid. So that's a young kid. We're talking 1974. I graduated high school in 75, so I was 16 years old. But look at this. Look at Ali's rope-a-dope, and look at this, the historic fight, the Rumble in the Jungle. Don King was the promoter.
Don King was promoter, yes.
The Hall of Fame promoter.
Yeah, and the fight was postponed, right?
Yeah.
And then they finally got it here in October. So the fight was supposed to be earlier in the year, if I'm not mistaken, because I think Foreman had an injury.
Right.
And Foreman didn't want to stay. Foreman wanted to go. Foreman did not, he didn't like it there, and
the two of them were adversaries in the ring, but very friendly outside the ring. They helped each other. They did help each other. Both of them, of course, rest in peace. Continue to rest in peace. We lost Foreman 4 years ago, the Hall of Famers. But the action of the Rumble in the Jungle. Part of boxing history here.
Right hand. This time he works over the shoulder of Foreman.
How quick was Ali with that finish, huh?
Oh my God! When he saw the opening and he was hurt, that was insane. I mean, he's a special fighter. Obviously, he is the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali. But this was, the rope-a-dope. Who would have thought? He was a big underdog in this fight as well. Everybody thought Foreman was gonna kill Ali, and Ali proved everybody wrong. And just look at this. And
again, next to Floyd Patterson, heavyweight title, second time. Became the second fighter to do that. October 30th, 1974, and the jubilation afterwards. Well, I'll tell you, I've met Ali a few times. I met Foreman numerous times, and the face of heavyweight of boxing, the heavyweight division, right there, Tom. Great nostalgia, great clip as we celebrate the anniversary of that great fight, Rumble in the Jungle. Great, thank you, Tom, for loading that as well.
No problem.
Again, that's on YouTube, and it's all over the place today. If you're a boxing fan now, or then, and if you didn't see that, then go to YouTube and you'll catch it. What we just showed you here at Keep It in the Ring. Let's wrap this up, Tom. Take a look at this. I took this out of the file the other day because I thought someone might want it. Collection of posters as they used to do with WCW, WWF at the time, or WWE, WrestleMania, Super Brawl with WCW. See that one at the bottom? That's Sting and Kane and the Vader.
Big fan Vader.
Vader at Super Bowl III against Sting, and Sting won it. Remember it well. Vader, Leon White, the late Leon White, was born on my birthday, same age, May 14th.
Wow. Okay.
And that's how when I first met him, I told him that. And he said to me, "Happy birthday, Rich." I said, "Happy birthday." And he didn't get insulted when I called him by his real name.
Nice.
He
Okay.
didn't mind that. Leon White, he was a great guy, great for wrestling. He was an overseas sensation. Of course, we know what Sting was able to do, a Hall of Famer. And Sting's still around. WCW making some appearances.
Yeah.
And what do you got at the top? WrestleMania. What do I have there? WrestleMania
8. No, this is 8. This is Psycho Sid against Hogan, and this was the Macho Man versus Ric Flair.
Yeah.
This is when Ric Flair. This is after Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble to win the title. And then remember that first they put Hogan in, and then Psycho Sid kind of turned heel. The whole Rumble thing. This was
a great era.
This was a great.
It
few
was
months
WWF at the time. You see the logo at the left of the screen on the poster. Tom, if you want this, you can have it. Anyone who wants it, watching the program, would like that as part of their collection. It's just been sitting around, so anyone wants it, just let me know. You have my social media at the bottom of the screen. It's ring786 at X, facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. I'm willing to give it away. I have a lot of that stuff, and it's just sitting here doing nothing. So let me know.
That's pretty cool. This is a pretty cool item right here. Nice collector's item.
And you know who did that? Who put it together? Me.
Cool. Nice.
I did. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some wrestling marks out there that would love to have something like that.
You guys gotta let me know on your side and my side, your fans or mine, and I'll get it to them. It's just sitting here, and I'm going to show more of that stuff in the weeks to come. So we leave on this note, and Halloween is tomorrow. I think I've got my Met Farce jersey on to show that. So we want everybody who's going to be Friday night Halloween to be safe and with the kids and whatever, trick or treat. What about you, Tom? What are you doing Halloween night?
I'm doing absolutely nothing. I probably would go live tomorrow night. We don't really celebrate Halloween.
No, I don't either.
So,
I don't either.
But I advise people to stay safe out there, especially here in New York and the Bronx. I mean, just stay safe. Try to, if you got kids, go as early as possible, whether it's daylight, and then come back in and enjoy the rest of your night with your family. That's what I advise, and then get some rest because you're gonna lose an hour of sleep this weekend.
That's another thing. I hate that. I hate that. Yeah. Why can't they leave the clocks the same time every year? One time zone.
I thought they were going to get rid of going ahead back.
They didn't do it. It's such a disruption. And it goes so fast. Where is this year gone? Faster than last year.
It's going to get darker.
As we end October. And we thank you for your continued support, fans of Keep It in the Ring on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, and subscribe. And to Tommy D Sports Talk, Spring Punk Entertainment. Like the Keep It in the Ring page. Tom, we'll be back next week, 8 p.m. live. Sports with Rich and Tom. We will get that back going up again, too, with the World Series coming to an end. Deep into the NFL season and much more. Any quick final words, Tom? Again, thanks Xavier Daniels. Great job talking martial arts with us and so forth.
No, I mean, I'm going to go try to see, hopefully, maybe catch the main event. Michaela Mayer's fighting right now against Spencer.
Right.
She's moving up in weight. I'll go catch that. And, looking forward to next week. We got some good fights next weekend on the 8th. Pro Box on the 8th. I think Virgil Ortiz as well. The calendar's down below. The only thing you don't have is the Pro Box card, but we'll put it up. So, I'm looking forward to that. And, hopefully everybody enjoys the show. Enjoy your weekend and, be safe out there.
Thanks for your continued support, folks. As I always say, keep safe, be well, be good to each other. And as always, Tom, till next week. What do we say?
Keep it in the ring.
Keep it in the ring. Thank you for watching, folks. Till next time.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.